Denny Hamlin is still on baby watch, says that if the baby's not here by the time he has to leave for Mexico City, then he's not going to Mexico City. Let's talk about that. Plus, power rankings post Michigan. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. The NASCAR Cup Series heads south of the border this weekend to Mexico City for the first International Cup Series points race in series history. Earlier today, Cup and Xfinity haulers crossed the southern border and began their long trek down to the nation's capital city. But before we can get into the latest Mexico City news, power rankings, this episode is sponsored by Aluma. We've talked a lot about Aluma trailers in the past, the extreme quality, unmatched versatility, the value that Aluma trailers provide. Something we still need to highlight, and it's big, Aluma's dealers. Aluma dealers are top notch. They're schooled in product knowledge and provide the best customer support in the industry. Plus, they're easy to find with dealers in every US state, including Alaska and Hawaii. And Aluma offers this great dealer locator on its website. Let's check it out. Here we go. Now you can search in the US or Canada by zip code, city, state, whatever. Let's check out Atlanta, for example. Boom, there's one right there. But Atlanta's a big city. Let's widen the search. Look at that. More and more keep popping up. Let's just pick one, link to its website. Hey, what do you know? There's an Aluma trailer right there on the homepage. And hey, maybe some of y'all out there have your own dealership and are looking to add a great trailer line. There's a quick, easy dealer application right there on Aluma's website. To find all of the information you may need, head to alumaklm.com or click the link down in the video description. Both the NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series are heading south of the border this weekend to Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. But the most recent Cup Series winner, three-time Daytona 500 champion Denny Hamlin, may not be making the trip. Hamlin appeared on Track, SiriusXM NASCAR radio this morning, and said that if his fiancée has not yet given birth to their son by the time he is due to leave, then he won't be going.
If she hasn't had it, by the time I need to leave for Mexico, then I'm not going to go to Mexico. I think that that's the proper thing to do. Just going to make sure I spend the proper time with her, and obviously the racing will come second this week.
So Denny said that Tuesday morning. We're recording this early Tuesday. Thursday, reportedly, is when most drivers will be making the trip to Mexico City. Cup practice is Friday, so Thursday, we're talking maybe a 48-hour window at most, where if the baby isn't here, then Denny won't be there at Mexico City. Ryan Truex, younger brother of Martin Truex Jr., is the reserve driver on standby for the third consecutive week. Ryan Truex does a lot of Joe Gibbs Racing's sim work behind the scenes. Actually interviewed him about that last season if you want to click up here to check out that full conversation. Now, before y'all leave any comments, birth of a child is an acceptable reason to miss a race according to NASCAR, so Denny Hamlin won't need to worry about a playoff waiver. He won't need to worry about losing all of his playoff points, so he should be okay to miss this one race. Credit to both NASCAR and to Denny Hamlin for putting family first in this instance. I do think Hamlin winning Michigan this past weekend, adding 5 more playoff points to the bank, makes this a slightly easier decision. Not to mention, Mexico City is a road course. Denny Hamlin's road course numbers are terrible in recent years, like back marker terrible. In 18 road course starts in the next gen era, Denny has one top 10 finish. That's it. I looked up his average finish in those races, 25th. He ranks 25th in the NASCAR Cup Series. Bottom third, what did I say? Denny also said something on his podcast this week about having a really bad experience the last time he was in Mexico City. I don't know what that's about. I don't know the story. Maybe it's common knowledge. I'm not familiar with the details. Point is, if this was Darlington, if this was Southern 500 weekend, one of Denny Hamlin's favorite tracks, a crown jewel race, it would be much more difficult for him to decide to sit this one out. I still think he would. I think he would make the right decision to be with his fiance, be there for the birth of his child, his first son, but it would be at least a slightly harder decision. That's the difficult thing here. When you're racing in Mexico City, you have to deal with international travel. There's extra steps involved, customs. It's harder to just jet home suddenly if stuff's going down in Charlotte. So that's why if the baby's not here in the next 2 days, presumably, Denny's staying home and Ryan Truex will race the number 11 internationally. Hopefully the timing works out and everyone is good, everyone's healthy, and Denny can race this weekend, because it would be really cool to see Denny Hamlin return to Mexico City, where he won a NASCAR Xfinity Series race back in 2006. He is one of few drivers in this Cup Series field who have raced at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. He's one of even fewer who have won. Kyle Busch, I believe, has an Xfinity Series win. Michael McDowell has a sports car win. I'm sure others have success there as well. Those are just the first three off the top of my head. Either way, Denny Hamlin, one of the most recognizable, successful drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series today. This is a huge moment for the Cup Series to go race internationally for the first time in nearly 30 years. First points race ever. It'd be great to have one of your stars in the field, even if he may not be very competitive. Again, see the previously mentioned road course stats. Anyway, that is the latest news there. We'll keep you updated on this show. Stay up to date on social media. Of course, I'm sure Denny and Joe Gibbs Racing will be providing updates all week long. Let's talk power rankings. As y'all know, my weekly top 10 is largely based on recent performance, but there is some speculation involved. Road course coming up next. That might change my rankings just a bit. Let's see if your favorite driver made the cut this week after Michigan. I do have one honorable mention this week. Chris Buescher led more laps at Michigan than he's led all year. He won a stage, finished runner-up. And again, we're heading to a road course this weekend. Chris Buescher was top 10 at COTA. He won at Watkins Glen last fall, outdueled Shane Van Gisbergen on the final restart. Honorable mention for Chris Buescher. But at number 10 for the second week in a row, Carson Hocevar cracks my list. Hocevar has led laps in 6 of the last 7 races. Ironically, Nashville is the only race in that span he didn't lead a lap, and he finished second. Fuel strategy failed him at Michigan. Tire issue just added insult to injury. This team has to execute better, but the speed is undeniable. They are top 10, if not top 5 in speed week in, week out. That's why Carson Hocevar cracks the top 10. Number 9, another 15th place finish for Chase Elliott at Michigan this weekend, but there were signs of life. Made a big pass for the lead at one point, led 19 laps. Elliott continues to be very consistent, has finished top 20 in every race this season. And we do head to a road course this weekend. Once upon a time, Chase Elliott was unstoppable at road course races. The times have changed a bit, but he did overcome that turn 1 lap 1 incident at COTA a few weeks back to finish top 5. So watch out for Chase Elliott at Mexico City this Sunday. I'm dropping Joey Logano down to 8. He just has too many of these perplexing, poor performances. You go into Michigan expecting Ford to be great. They'd won 9 of the last 10 races at Michigan going into this past weekend. And Team Penske had just won the previous week at Nashville. Joey Logano was top 5. But they just weren't any good this weekend. Logano qualified mid-pack, earned 0 stage points. I look up at one point, he's running 28th, finished 22nd. Yuck. Maybe they were trying some stuff, maybe they just missed it, but it feels like Logano and Paul Wolfe miss it more often than they should. Plus, Logano's road course numbers aren't very good. Heading to Mexico City, Logano at 8. I'm moving Ross Chastain up a couple spots. He has won a road course race before, a couple years ago at Circuit of the Americas. He comes into this weekend with some good momentum. Recent finishes of 1st at Charlotte, 11th, 6th at Michigan. Ross continues to get good finishes, but they never put a full race together. This team only has 36 stage points this year. For comparison, Chase Elliott has 86 this year. Austin Cindric has 95. Shoot, Carson Hocevar has more than double the stage points of Ross Chastain. Ross is getting the finishes, but he's not running very well stage 1, stage 2. Hopefully that changes this weekend. I really don't know what to do with Tyler Reddick because he has the opposite problem of Ross Chastain. Reddick runs really well week in, week out. He is earning a lot of stage points, but he keeps coming up with new creative ways to throw those points away, whether it's speeding on pit road, spinning himself out at Texas. This time around, he slid through his pit box too deep on the final stop and got boxed in, lost over 10 positions on pit road. I'm keeping Reddick up here in my top 10 because he does have the 5th most stage points earned this year. Great speed. He did rebound from that pit road issue to finish 13th at Michigan, and we're heading to a road course race. Reddick has 4 road course wins in the next gen era. He was top 5 at Circuit of the Americas early this spring. I like Reddick to have speed at Mexico City. Tyler Reddick at 6. Then we get to my fast 5. Every week I just shuffle the order of 1 through 5. This week it's Ryan Blaney in the 5th position. Blaney's intermediate speed has been wildly inconsistent the past few weeks. Wasn't very good at Charlotte, then got wrecked, but then wins Nashville, going away. Then Michigan, kind of like his teammates, just didn't have it, spun out all on his own, finished 32nd. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That's why he keeps bouncing around my top 5. At number 4 this week, Kyle Larson. Larson and team have not executed very well the past few weeks. He spun out at Charlotte, obviously. Nashville and Michigan had pit road penalties that put them behind, but they've still had enough speed to finish 8th and 5th the last 2 weeks. They're still getting really good results. Larson was able to nibble away at Byron's points lead this week, but he's built a solid 41-point cushion to 3rd in the regular season standing, so Larson in a good spot. I have him at 4. At 3, give me Christopher Bell. Similar to Larson, I don't think the 20 has been sharp lately, but they still have 4 top 10s in the last 5 races. Throw in that all-star race victory for good measure. And again, looking ahead to the road course this weekend, Christopher Bell won at Circuit of the Americas back in March. Top 2, winner, Denny Hamlin. Three's company, 3 drivers with 3 wins apiece this year. Denny is part of that group. After a couple of bad finishes in a row, mainly due to mechanical issues, Hamlin has jumped from 7th to 3rd in the regular season points in just a couple of weeks. Denny Hamlin surging to start the summer, but not quite enough to put him at number 1. I still have points leader William Byron in the top position. Michigan was another example of a race he could have won, but just didn't quite have enough at the very end. He still earned the most stage points, won another stage, was running 2nd when he ran out of fuel coming to take the white flag. Like Byron, crew chief Rudy Fugle have a ton of speed at a variety of tracks. He was also very competitive at COTA, first road course earlier this year. He'll be a threat this weekend for sure. They have so much speed, so much consistent performance, but somehow, someway, they haven't won a race since Daytona. I don't know how that's possible. They continue to maintain a solid points lead. William Byron at 1. There is my top 10 after Michigan, heading to Mexico City. We'll see how a road course shakes things up in a few days' time. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on the video. Helps me out a ton. Also, hit that subscribe button down below, wherever it is. If you're new to the channel or if you love all things NASCAR, you're in the right place. Big thank you to my supporters for your generous support every single month. I will talk with you again real soon. Have a great rest of your day, folks. Thanks again for watching.